Architectural Builder Supply is pleased to present you with this recording of the technical question that is listed in the title of this video.
This call may be monitored and recorded for quality assurance.
Spoke about. It's up to you.
I'm sorry, what is the question for me?
Well, I said I spoke to your colleague, Corey, prior to getting to you and told him what I was calling about. I don't know if he gave you some background information or...
Oh, the answer is did he? He may have. I'm walking out to go work in the shop. But I can walk and talk, sure.
Okay. Well, I came across you from watching some videos online because I need some help. I've got a Bommer cafe door hinge that's mounted at the bottom on the floor. So I'm pretty sure it's a 7811. So it does stay in the open position at the 9-degree mark, okay?
Okay.
And there's two things. One, the bird's mouth, when you open this door, the bird's mouth makes a fairly loud cracking noise. Mm-hmm. And I see that it rolls on, I guess I'll call it a sleeve. The sleeve turns as the bird's mouth turns as you open and close this door, okay? So I don't know, because I may end up needing two more of these hinges, but I don't know what, it looks like the bird's mouth is like jolting, which may be creating this cracking noise on that sleeve roller.
No.
I hope I'm making sense with this, but...
Yeah, how old do you think those are? See you guys in the morning.
I would say 15. 15 years old. But it's been cracking since day one. And so I went to adjust the tension, and it's probably cracking worse now once I adjusted the tension on it.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I lubricated everything because it probably hadn't touched lubrication in the 15 years it's been installed on this particular door. And so I don't know. I'm trying to get rid of this cracking noise every time it opens. And I don't know if I would think that the manufacturer was not intended to make this cracking noise on their hinges. I'm guessing. I mean, I've been in the manufacturing process before, so I just don't know what else to do to stop that noise every time.
Replacing it. It's clearly, it's not supposed to make that cracking noise. If it's cracking, it's somehow damaged or fatigued. I mean, it'll make noise. It's it's a mechanical thing, but cracking, it shouldn't crack. I've heard that. It will make a noise when it goes in and out of hold open. It's just part and parcel of what it is. The way to truly eliminate almost all noise is go to a hydraulic solution. Translation, costly.
Yeah, no, okay. And I know what you're referring to on that. So the fact that it's, once I adjusted the tension and it's cracking, I call it cracking, Richard, but cracking worse now.
That makes sense.
Because...
Assuming you increased the tension.
Well, I went both ways. Once I figured out from your videos, counterclockwise, clockwise, I went both ways to thinking, okay, at some point of the tension, I'm going to eliminate this noise. This all happened yesterday. So in the first 15 years of use, it had a slight cracking noise when you opened it, but slight. I mean, just for a split second, click, and it's almost like the spring in there is metal rubbing against metal. Yeah,
because it is.
Yeah, and I realize that. So now that you've explained that there will be some sort of noise, that's fine. But now that I've adjusted the tension on it, there's even more of the cracking noise now, and it's quite a bit louder. So I put it back on the tension where it was set to before, and I'm strictly basing that on the threads on the rod. But it's anyway. I don't know if that's I mean, if it's made to have that cracking noise, but it's worse now after my tension adjustment versus when it was, from the day of installation. So, and I can keep playing with it, I guess. I mean,
you gave something a wild hair. That's all. I mean, it's 15 years only though, huh? That sounds quite premature.
Yeah, and it doesn't get a whole lot of use. and this particular door is on a utility room in a residential setting. So granted, yes, does somebody open that door every day? Yes, but it's not a high volume restaurant cafe type thing. You know, it's not like that at all. It's an 8-foot door, solid wood, so it's got some weight on it. You know, I know that 7811 is rated for 90 pounds, so it's probably going to be a 7811.
I would say that the 7811 is the wrong unit for an 8-foot door, unless it's like 2.6 wide, 30-inch wide. If it's a full-size door, the HD version is what ought to have been originally specified, because that door weighs more than 90 pounds if it's solid core, like 210-80 or something like that.
Oh yeah, no, it's a solid core, and it's I'm pretty sure it's a 36, by the way.
Oh yeah, definitely going to be. Yeah, technically weight range. Yeah, it exceeds what the 11 was engineered for.
Well, and the problem is the number is not stamped on any of the. It's not stamped anywhere. I see the Bomber and Made in USA stamped on the floor plate, but I don't see the model number stamped anywhere. But to know exactly what it is. Now, when you say HD, is that the hydraulic you referred to earlier?
No, it's the heavy-duty version of the 7800 series.
Okay. All right. Well,
that one was for like 130-pound doors, I think. I don't recall, but it's something like that. Regardless, you might have a 7801. I mean, you would know by the finished plates. But does it still hold open?
Oh yeah. Okay. No, I mean, working wise, it works perfectly fine. It's just that when you open it, say at the halfway mark, let's call it, the 45 degree, let's call it. I mean, that's when you get that cracking. I mean, it's a pop. Maybe that's a better word to say, popping versus cracking.
Yeah. Yeah, it should.
It's a pop. You can hear it. There's no question about that. And of course, the wife thinks the whole damn thing's gonna fall apart. So
it shouldn't make noise when you're at 45 degree. Only when you're coming in and going out of hold open.
Okay. No, it's popping at the 45, and that's partially why I'm calling you, because your videos are very descriptive and very detailed, which is what I like. So I figured, well, let me call him and figure out if he's ever come across this, and more importantly, how to fix it.
Yeah, repair, come across it. Oh yeah, countless times. It's just generally when people call, their units are decades old, because like anything else in life, things wear out, and that's.
Oh yeah. And I don't see a whole lot of wear and tear on this thing at all. I mean, I can't tell you how many, it's like an hour meter on a piece of equipment. I can't tell you how many times this thing's been opened and closed, but, the bird's mouth, everything looks like it's practically brand new, quite frankly. But,
yeah.
But it's been cracking since it was installed. It's been making that popping noise since day one. I know that for a fact. So, that to me just doesn't sound normal from a manufacturer's standpoint, especially with the reputation that Bommer has,
Had.
Yeah, well, had, yeah. Yeah, you're right. And that's unfortunate, too. I mean, a company like that's been in business for that long, I hate to ask what even happened, but it happened, so. And again, nothing is stamped model number-wise, so I don't know if this is a HD 7811 or a 7801. I don't know. When I looked at the directions and the installations and all of that, they basically kind of the prints, and all that. It basically looks all the same to me. Same relative hinge. So I know some don't hold open and some do, but this one's a hold open. So, but anyway, all right. Well, if there's really no solution to it, I guess I'll have to just do what I do, and live with it, I guess. But the other question,
replace it or live with it.
Yeah. And you obviously sell these, Richard?
Now the design has changed in the last 15 years slightly. The answer is yes. I still have some in stock. In the 11, I'd need to see photographs of yours before I knew perfectly what you had, so I replaced like for like. The HD that you probably should have had originally, I don't have any of. So that's where that would be.
Yeah. Okay. Next question, final question. The back plate on this hinge, there's there's a hole in there for the screw. The instructions say a number 1024 half inch. Now, this hole in this back plate is on the wider portion, which means the skinnier portion must go up toward the top of the door, let's call it, okay, to have that hole align with the hole. That hole that it aligns with, pointing in that direction, that hole is not threaded. You cannot get a screw in, thread a screw in there.
It is not threaded.
What's that?
It is not threaded. That's one of at least two known design shortcomings of the entire system.
So when the directions tell you to put a number 1024 in there, they just...
I know the engineer. I know the guy, the name on the patent. I know the guy that's responsible for all that stuff. I've met him personally. I actually communicated with him maybe on Monday, and it's like, why weren't they tapping those holes? It's that, and also the way that you notch out the door at the bottom. There are two mounting holes for the trim plates that you can't possibly use because you've chiseled all of it away.
That is correct.
Yeah,
that is a pet peeve of mine.
Yeah, well, no doubt.
Because I've got people trying to screw holes in the plate, and there's nothing to screw into.
Nothing. There's nothing there.
And of course, everybody who sees it and looks at it closely says, "Hey, you're missing 4 screws at the bottom." Yeah. Well,
but what you're missing is a hacksaw and some super glue. I've told people if it gets you there, then that's all I can say. And Bommer's doing that so they don't have to make left and right hand versions of it. That's why they're doing it.
Yeah. Oh no, I can understand that. So going back to the back plate, the skinny portion of the back plate points upward.
Okay.
Richard? No, that was a question. Is that correct?
Oh, a question? I think the heel plates, I think the small portion has to go up, I think. I'd have to look at the template, but I just simply don't remember is the answer.
Yeah. No, that's the only way that hole lines up. Now, if I have to, I can tap that hole and get some thread in there. That's relatively simple. I mean, I've been doing this for so long thinking, how the hell does this thing screw in there? Because it doesn't. But anyway, okay. Well, I can get back to you because, as I told Corey, I've got 2 other ones that I might need to order. But is there a stamp anywhere on the hinge itself that tells me what model it is, or no?
No, not at all. I could tell you if it was HD or not. I could obviously tell you if it was hold open or not. I could tell you if it was brass or steel plates, and I could tell you if it's an 01 or an 02 variant or not that variant. But the number's not on there anywhere. I could visually tell you. Well, I couldn't visually completely tell you. You and I together could do it because I'd have to be with the hardware to know for sure. But really, your problem, what you're trying to discover is not what you have, it's what you need. So bathroom scale. That is correct. Toss that door on a bathroom scale, figure out what the story is on the weight, and then say, because these companies, they actually go through the effort of engineering this stuff because people are going to hold them accountable to what they say.
Oh yeah, no, there's no doubt about that. I'm very familiar with that. But I mean, that popping noise is just unbelievable.
Well, the problem with the popping noise is this. It's 11:45. You wake up. It's midnight snack time, and now your wife's here, and you go into the kitchen. That's the.
Oh yeah, and
that's
again,
the problem.
It's the bird. It's the bird's mouth. It looks like the bird's mouth is moving just a hair on those sleeve rollers, I'll call it.
Yeah.
But it almost sounds like the spring itself has got enough tension where when you stretch the tension of that spring to open it, is when that spring hits another piece of metal. And I haven't looked at it that closely as it's in action. Well, I have actually several times, and I can't see it, but I can see that bird's mouth moving just slightly on those sleeve rollers. And it's loud. I mean, and it's worse now than it was, 3 days ago before I started to adjust the tension on it.
Yeah, well, no good deed
I
goes
just can't
unpunished.
believe somebody would manufacture something that has that kind of popping noise. That's just
No,
my
they
opinion.
wouldn't. I mean, they wouldn't. These guys have been copied, cloned and copied by more people than they could count. It's not designed like that originally. It'll, like we've said, it doesn't make the noise there. It makes it when it's holding open, coming in or going out.
Yeah, it's bad. I mean, I'll try to keep maybe fooling with it and see if I can get it corrected somehow, some way. But I figured I'd call you, the guru, so to speak, because you've got all. I've watched, plenty of 6 or 7 or so of your videos trying to figure out, and you describe things very well. By the way, Richard, quickly, what happened to Bommer as a company?
Well, first of all, I'm not the guru. That would be Stuart Jackson. So if you look at the bottom of their templates, it'll say S. Jackson. He is.
Yeah, I see all that. Yeah, I see that. Yeah.
He is.
Yeah.
He has forgotten more about hinges than people will ever learn. So my opinion is, I've met Charlie Martin, who is the husband of one of the 2 granddaughters of one of the brothers Bommer. So 1876, granddaughter, husband of, he's still alive. So he's, you can just get the idea that, well, he must be a senior citizen, and he is. Bommer's not out of the business. They just no longer make builders hardware. Now, my opinion is they didn't innovate. So the 7800 series that you could buy in 1925, I mean, think about 100 years ago, right? You still buy it today, but what's the new hotness? They haven't put any new hotness out in the world. How do we evolve, spring-assisted contraptions? And it never evolved. The whole made in USA, not only are the products made in the United States, but the steel, the pen that they would write on their paper in their office domestically, everything, 100%. We all love it. I love it. Everybody, no one's going to say, I don't want that 100% American made. No one's going to say that, even though my iPhone's the greatest thing ever, right? Made in China. But it didn't get them, it didn't get them far enough. So if the military, the Navy's looking for hinges, it's domestically manufactured, no sub. There's one manufacturer that complies with the spec. But, and so they didn't innovate, number one. Number two, they weren't pricing their material correctly in the sense that we find out after the fact, after you can't get any 7800 series, after you can't get any 7000 series, if I find them, I've got to mark it up based on what I paid for it. So something that was $200 3 years ago, I could easily sell a bushel load at $600 each. So they should have adjusted that price. They should have been bumping it up because they were the not only game in town, the only game. So if you wanted to play, it was their dice. So I think they could have leveraged the market to their advantage better. And plus, my opinion is I know what I'm doing better financially. I'm maybe not as maybe my level of moxie goes down, and Bommer is ownership there may not be as hungry as a 25-year-old guy out there trying to make a name for himself. So maybe there's a little bit of apathy. Who knows?
Yeah. Well, they're not the first or last company that's been around for a century to succumb to those things you just described. There's been plenty of others too, but it's just a damn shame that such a quality product is no longer being made. And
well, you ready for this?
Clones and the copies, but
you could call up Bommer right now, and that segment of their business as of a month ago is still for sale. The 7800 series and the other stuff, they're over. If you've ever been in a courtroom, and I'm sure you never have, but I can describe it to you. When you're in traffic court, as I have been, those short little doors you walk through, the pivots that swing those courtroom doors, those cafe doors, those are Bommer. Those are $200+ units. That is what the woodworking industry in the world is dying to have back in the market. No one has picked it up. So when I reached out to them a month ago about something in the same product category in their catalog, I was basically saying, help me understand how I can make this, because you know what? If you guys don't want to make them, the market still wants them, and they just stonewalled me by saying, you can come in and buy the whole thing. And I'm telling them I know nothing about manufacturing in the sense of running a business, a successful business. So, you know, it's still, as far as I know, it's still for sale.
Well, it's surprising. Well, again, going back to your pricing, maybe they're over asking their price for the sale of that, because I can't believe here we are today in 2023 in the United States of America that some investor or investor group would say, based on supply and demand, we're going to pay X amount for this and we're going to make it back in, say, 10 years. Kind of, you know, the return on investment. I mean, that's just my opinion. But again, I mean, when a company says we no longer make it, but it's for sale, well, everything can be bought for a certain price.
What they actually have of value is the intellectual property. You can go out and, you know, you're talking industrial revolution technology in their machines. So you have to buy the IP. Other than that, you can figure out how to roll 1/8-inch stainless steel. There's, you know, I know how to do that. Yeah.
And again, I don't know if the clones or copies are similar or close to or whatever you want to describe it as, but you know, because there's a lot of clones and copies of all sorts of different things, especially when the patent runs out and all that, you know. But anyway, I mean, it's just shameful for me to see companies like this just, you know, I hate to say go belly up, because they haven't completely, but that division, as you said, is for sale. Well, how much is it? And what do I get for it? And what's the demand for it? You know, because I've done work in the insurance business for rebuilding and rebuilding hurricane hit courtrooms. And let me tell you, I know exactly what you mean, because when they write the specs and they say we're only going to have Bommer hinges, oh, okay, well, we can get them, but each one is going to be about $850.
Yeah. Well, it's taxpayer dollars, so only the best.
Yeah, well, yeah, exactly. So, you know, I fully understand that. I fully understand that. But anyway, well, okay, Richard, thank you very, very much. I'll probably be calling back within the next 3 to 4 months, checking on those others. But you know, I mean, if you want me to send you photos of what I'm currently dealing with, I can do that. But I don't want to tie you up and add more work to your workload and all that. So that at least we can.
I'll be here till I'm 90. Go ahead and send your photos.
Well, is there a personal number or so you want me to send that to versus the main number on your video?
Oh, no, email. Definitely email.
What's your email address?
Sales, SALES, at A as in architectural, B as in builders, supply, SUPPLY, .net.
Okay, let me repeat that. Sales at absupply.net.
That's right. Yes, sir.
Okay. All right. Fantastic, Richard. Thank you so much for the information. I really appreciate it.
Awesome, sir. I'll talk to you soon. Bye-bye.
Okay. Bye-bye.
Bye. Architectural Builders Supply hopes you have enjoyed this program. Again, thank you for watching, and if you've enjoyed this video, please click thumbs up. Please subscribe and maybe even send the video to someone that you know. Thank you.